I'm spending too much time. I'm overthinking everything, I think.
Yeah, for sure. One time I learned from a mentor of mine, she said she never re-records Insta stories. So I started adopting that too. And live videos, and even
I think
it sounds
that's
like a
smart.
goof, but yeah, I mean, there's an element of like, well, also if it sucks and you just said something really ridiculous. So, but I understand her mentality of like, we just have to be extensions of ourselves.
Yeah, I think it comes across as more authentic when you do that, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I will
Totally.
trip up over my words, and I think I know what I'm going to say, and then when I go to say it, it's like I'm speaking another language.
Totally.
It, and then I try like 3 times, and then I just give up and I don't post anything. So it's just trying to get over myself in that way.
Absolutely.
That's the hardest part for me. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Kayleen, how did your last couple weeks go? How are you feeling? Clear, confused, or middle?
Middle. Like, I feel there's certain pieces of it where I'm like, as I went through the workbooks, there were certain pieces where I feel like I can just answer things and I know. And then other things, like this whole business name thing, I just can't. Like, I love shift. Like, I love that piece of it, but then what goes with that? And then if that works, it doesn't work. Like, I can't just have shift as my Instagram handle. And I feel like Instagram is going to be a huge part of my life. And I feel like, I mean, it is going to be. And so I need to come up with the name before I can launch my social media, before I can decide what my website is. So like but then when I talk about my target market, I have answers to those questions and I know what that person looks like, and I can, like, I know people in my life who are my target market. Like, I know that person, but it's just kind of figuring out exactly what my brand is going to be. And I feel like because I don't know exactly what my name is,
it's hard to do that.
Yeah. Like, I know I know what I think I want my colors to be, and I know what I think I want it to look like, but I feel like I need to kind of decide on a name or what that is going to be before I kind of move forward.
Okay, you've probably gone through this, but why can't you use shift? Why don't you want to use shift?
I do. I would, in an ideal world, I want it to be like SH exclamation mark FT. Great, but that can't, I don't think and by don't think, I'm like 99.9% sure the exclamation mark can't be in my Instagram handle.
They won't allow it because it's not an actual name. Is that why? Oh,
because the exclamation mark isn't. You can't
have.
What are they called? I don't know why I can't.
An Instagram handle.
Can't have an exclamation mark in it. But what's an exclamation mark?
Just like what do you call
it? Question mark.
A symbol.
There it is.
Yeah. Even the word. You can't do that because what if that is your business and you have a business account that you still can't use it?
You can't use symbols besides the underscore, the period. You can use numbers, letters, and I think that's it.
Yeah. So then I was playing with like, maybe it should be an underscore or something else, but the whole idea was just.
I like it with the exclamation mark. I can see that. Nice. Yeah.
But if it doesn't work with that, then.
Well, I think there's a difference between, nobody can have the exclamation points. So I have friends who started the company Holy Veggie, and their brand name, and I interviewed them on my podcast, their brand name has an exclamation point in it. So when you go to their page, all of their marketing on their Instagram and Facebook will always have Holy Veggie exclamation mark. But for their Instagram handle, like when people search Holy Veggie, they're still going to find Holy Veggie.
Right.
So I think you can still keep the exclamation mark in your branding because I love that. Like, it's exciting. It's like that character missing that's very common in different brand names. And so I think you'll just have to modify it for the Instagram and add a separate word onto it. Like, shift.com or like I've seen people do like their first and last name and then DOTCOM or literally period CA. So it would be like Kelsey Rydell period CA. if you couldn't get Kelsey Rydell as an Instagram handle. So they're using it to like promo their website. So we can definitely figure out how you can do that. But I think still like you could just use Shift, whether it's like Shift Lifestyle, Shift Nutrition, or just Shift with the exclamation mark. But to get a domain, you're going to have to add another word onto it. You're not going to get Shift as a domain. Mm-hmm. Your website, like that's taken, or it costs $90 million to get it. Yeah. So I think
I like Shift Lifestyle. I do like that if it was available.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Because I loved the idea of like the acronym, like whole. Because I was thinking, like I love the word wholehearted, but I don't know. And then I don't know if whole shift is exactly what I want. So then I was doing an acronym with shift, but then I still need another word. And I was like ambitious shift, optimistic shift, like all of these things. And I'm just kind of.
I wish that Katie was on this call because Katie just figured out all her branding, and like she has, I think it's 180 degree. I forget exactly what it is, but she would be great to talk to during this process because she had some light bulb moments go off. So maybe I'll post in the Facebook group after this call for her to share kind of her story of coming up with her name, her logo, her colors, and that process, because I know it can be daunting. Like I changed my brand name multiple times and it didn't come to me in the early days. And it wasn't a logical order of like figured out my name and then bought the domain. Like I had to buy multiple domains because I messed up and had to change. But keep in mind that this program is 90 days. You are not getting to the marketing module for another 2 weeks. And then you have 2 weeks to complete it. So until then, that's when I'm teaching you about website, social media, email marketing, things like that it would require you to like create an email address to actually lock in your Pinterest or your Facebook or whatever marketing you choose. So technically you still have almost a month before you need to lock down the name. Mm-hmm. And in that process, this week, module 3 is all about actually building out your program. And so this is where you're going to get pads and pads of sticky notes or just squares of paper. And like I've posted about my process a few times of creating your whole program. That's what's happening in this module. It's all about creating your program or your offer or your coaching package or your consulting package or your service-based business. It's pulling it all together. And it's okay if you still don't know what it's going to be, because I'm going to pry it out of your mind. You're going to put one thing on each sticky note, and then we're going to reorganize them into different pillars. Maybe you realize this is only like a one-time workshop, or it needs to be a 6-week or a 12-week project. So when you go through that, you're going to be left with like 50 sticky notes. They're all going to have different words on them. So perhaps there will be a word that pops out that you go, I kept talking about like nutrition. Like in every module, we're speaking about nutrition, or in every module, we're talking about holistic living. So then you might think, well, that should probably be part of my brand name right now while I launch this particular program. So I think like there could be some aha moments that come, and then just like honestly pull out textbooks that are relevant to your program that you're creating, or things like any magazines or listening to podcasts, and just hear words, like just and listen or read with the intention of like, what words really resonate with me? What like sounds funky to me? What really aligns with me? And then keep that in mind over the next month too. But other than that, it's really just about playing around with different combinations, and at some point it will stick, or you'll decide and then it will stick because you have it pasted all over your resources. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a little confidence that it will all pan out. And I know it's not easy in the beginning to lock down a brand name when sometimes you don't even really know what you're selling yet, right? So worst comes to worst, you go under your first and last name.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's always a good launching pad to get your domain and your your first program and registering your business under that and calling it a day until you come up with something else. So, yeah. So don't feel too daunted by it. Okay, cool. I actually have no idea where the other 5 girls are, but that's okay. Private coaching. So why don't we quickly review what happened in module 2? I'll just kind of run through some things, and then I'll just show you around module 3, which I think this is kind of the most exciting, the upcoming 2 weeks that we have ahead, because this is where you create something. This is where I've asked you like so many times to like think about your past life experience. What are you passionate about? What are your unique strengths? And I'm going to ask you again in this module, but I really do believe that there's so much that we can create out of what makes us unique and what we've been up to the past 10 years, because you have so much inside of your heads right now, so much to give, but sometimes we don't know where to begin when it comes to, well, what do I sell? I love seeing people pull everything together. Like, why exclude part of you when you're really good at many things and when you have a lot of hobbies and passions and interests? There are people who want to see all that clumped together in a program, in an offer, in a package with a price on it, and they will buy it, right? And that is like, everything is saturated nowadays, but that's where you can tie in your unique life experience and make it stand out. So I know in module 2, I talked a little bit about that, like X and Y axis. It was an audio training, so you might have missed it, but we're going to revisit it in module 3. And it's really about like understanding one axis will be, okay, what's your industry right now? So if your industry is like nutrition coaching, then that's going to be a given. Like you have to make sure that you feel confident in the coaching you can give around food. And if you're not confident, then it's going to be really tough to like differentiate yourself. But where the bread and butter really comes in is, what's your Y axis? So what's going to put you at the top right corner of a quadrant because you're really good at one other thing in addition to nutrition coaching. So for you, if that's like the keto diet and you are the master of the keto diet and you are like head buried in keto and you talk about keto and you make keto recipes and you know that that separates you and you're going to be the keto nutritionist because like it's the perfect merger and it puts you in a whole new quadrant, then that's what I really want you to hone in on. And we could kind of talk, like I think the example I used in module 2 was coffee shops, okay? There are many millions of people starting coffee shops right now. And a lot of them are just focusing on convenience. They're looking for a street corner that doesn't have a coffee shop already, and they're plotting coffee and convenience together. But that market is pretty saturated. There are a lot of coffee shops that are focused on convenience and just situating in neighborhoods because that's where the real estate is. But a coffee shop that really elevates the experience by having baristas that sing because all their employees are graduates of like an opera program, like that puts them in a whole quadrant of their own. People are going to travel to go visit them. Don't care if it's convenient. So it's just like, what makes you different? What's going to put you in a quadrant by yourself? And I think that's where a lot of module 1 and 2 came in. It's like that soul searching of like, who am I? Like, what is going to separate me? And what do I feel confident teaching because of my own life experience? So, okay. So when it comes to then your target markets, of course, we need to ensure that whatever we pull together, that somebody's going to want it. Did you, were you able to complete like the profile of who's going to buy this? Was it someone real or did you make that person up?
I had a person in mind. So one of my personal training clients is probably my ideal target market. So she's 50, she's out of shape, she's getting older, and she's realizing the importance of being in shape. She's got to lose, honestly, probably about 100 pounds. I don't think everybody that I would see would be in that situation, but she's just struggling to figure out all the changes that her body has gone through with menopause, all of that kind of thing. So we're working on just getting her healthy again. She's my target market. Whenever I think about somebody or whenever I'm writing something for this online business, I have her in mind and what it is that she would need to make her successful. So like instantly.
Yeah. And even what you said there, like she's struggling to figure out the changes that are going on in her body. Like that is something that you'll want to highlight and speak over and over and over, because as soon as someone reads that, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm very much struggling. So that's one of those phrases that you'll probably keep on coming back to because it's relatable, right? Yeah. Like it's very, very relatable. Cool. Well, I think that's good that you already know, like it's her, you're speaking to her, you can craft content for her, and you're probably just going to keep on coming back to the vision of who she is now and how you can help to get her to where she wants to be.
The struggle with working with that age group, I'm one of them, so I know, is just not letting her give up on herself, because she keeps doing, she does really, really well for 2 weeks, and then one small thing happens and she falls right off the bandwagon. And it's constantly keep motivating her to not give up, because part of her, I think, just feels like I'm getting too old for this shit. I don't want to have to start again. I don't want to have to redo everything. But it's just that constant affirmation. I think that people, women need at that age to know that you can change everything. It takes time and it takes persistence, but you can do it.
And I wonder if that, as you go through module 3, if that will have to be reflected in how you decide to carry out the program or the service. Does that mean you have to be available for more regular support? Or does that mean that you will send them like a daily motivational email that just touches base with them and checks in? Because if their day-to-day is waking up being like, I'm going to be fat and tired forever, then maybe that changes the way in which you deliver the program. And that's why I think it's good to know now, like what they go through, because you can create the program that they see as, oh, this could actually work, whereas everything else didn't, because they bought an ebook from a trainer online and then they had no support. Of course that doesn't work because they need constant
support. They need support. They've lost their confidence, and they need to feel like they're being heard. I think that's a large thing I find with women too, especially if they let themselves go and they're not feeling they're optimum. They're a few pounds overweight. They don't want to go to a gym because they're so intimidated. Every single person that I train, so intimidated to go to the gym. They do not want to go there, and they like the one-on-one with me, but they'd also like to be able to do it more, but they can't afford one-on-one training. So if I had an online component that actually gave them what they could do, where we could check in and they could still get the support, I feel like it could work.
You just told me about your entire program. So. Like this is it. Like when that doubt creeps in, when you experience like, well, I don't know, like why am I building this, or is it even going to work? Like think of that. Like you can be the one to create this place or community where women feel confident showing up, where they get the support they need, that is more affordable in their budget, that produces life-changing results. But being honest about the fact that, hey, like we're older, weight loss doesn't come with a 3-day celery juice cleanse.
It's not like when you were in your 20s and decided you were going to fast for 3 days and you lost everything. It doesn't happen.
Exactly. And a lot. So, I mean, part of the target market exercise too is to get you comfortable with drilling down to who is the smallest viable subset of people that I'm going to work with. The truth is you only have time, both of you, to work with like, I don't know, 5 clients at a time, 10, maybe 20, maybe 40 a month. If you're doing a group program, you're speaking to 40 people. And so it's okay to say that this is not for everyone. It is for people who understand that losing weight and getting fit in our 40s and 50s takes time. And you're almost like trying to repel certain people and be like, see, like you need to be committed before you do this. But then that also commands a more premium price too, because you say, it's not for everybody. Like this is the long haul, ladies. I want to be there for you, but if you're looking for a 7-day juice fast, then it isn't it. So it's just as important to know who it's for, but also who it's not for, because the worst thing is to bring people into your program who are not a good fit and who dilute the efforts of everybody else, or who want their money back after 2 sessions with you because they thought that they would, you know,
they see instant results.
Yeah, totally. Kayleen, do you want to tell us about your target market?
So I feel like there were like 3 different people that I think of when I think of my target market, and they're kind of both at different points in their, well, I'll just speak to 2 of them. Like one of them I would say is my best friend who I'm starting the local blend. You know how I talked about how I'm starting a second business?
Yes.
So starting the local blend with, her name's Kirsten. And so, she has a lot going on the same way I do. But she, every single day to me says like, I don't understand how you do it. I don't know how you manage your time. I don't know how I don't like, I can't. And I'm like, I just do. And I feel like it's one of my like best skills is managing my time. And so, but I'm always like coaching her on how to manage her time. And so when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about her. And then I also have a cousin who works for the federal government, and she like has a little kid, and she's 36 and is always talking about like, I want to start eating better. I want to meal prep in the weekend so that I'm like prepared for the week. I want to. Like she wants to make a difference, but needs help in making a difference in her life. Like her health is a priority, but it's not, and she's willing to spend the money on someone who will help her. It's just kind of putting that together. So
Okay, so one suggestion for both of you is to start keeping a running document of things people say to you. Because you're both already out and about, like sharing what you're good at, connecting with others. I'll give you a true sneak peek at my target market document. Let me just see where. Okay, so I think I've mentioned I use this app called Asana to organize me. I have one project here for the Visionary Method. So I keep this tab. It has no due date on it. I'm assuming you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's called Target Market Notes. And anytime, like honestly, there was a phase in my life like 2 years ago where I was going out for coffee with friends, and all of them, and I mentioned in our Facebook group, all of them were saying, I hate my job. I just don't know what else to do. And you seem so happy in your job. And here I am working like 6 jobs. I'm like, okay, well, it has its pros and cons too. But they're like, how do you do it? How did you switch to freelance? Da, 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 da. And that was really the moment the light bulb went off. That was like, okay, I got to start something. And from that point on, I started collecting all these different phrases that people would tell me. And anytime I would have a discovery call, I'd be writing things down. Like this was a conversation I had the other day. That I just highlighted. A girl who reached out, said, I found you through like someone's Instagram account. She's saying, and this is what I hear day after day. What the hell am I doing with my life? I have this new job and all of a sudden 7 months have gone by and I'm still there. I feel like I'm in the right industry, but the wrong job. She's working for a healthcare company, but just like, you know, so I can tell like she's passionate about health and wellness, but working corporate. She's on the verge of quitting. So this is who I need to be speaking to, right? Because they could be my next client. I need some inspiration. Corporate is sucking the life out of me. I do have a blog or an Instagram platform and I post inconsistently. And I have some other skills. So like, I just literally recorded this conversation because I'm going to go turn around and write a post directly to her, not actually saying her name, knowing that it's going to speak to like a lot of my target market at this point. So I would say just start compiling what these phrases are. Anytime I'm in a launch, I am just sifting through this document. I'll share a couple other things. If you want to write down 3 things to do, and these are kind of in addition to the target market exercise, is to write down what are your target markets, what are their dreams, what are their worldviews, and what is their energy. And I always come back to this when I create content for the visionary method, because I know that the dreams of most of my clients are that they want to live life on their own terms. They don't want to be bound by a 9-to-5 job. They want to use their strengths, and they don't feel like they currently are using their strengths to their full potential. They are passionate. So a dream of theirs is to use that passion. They're hardworking, they're resourceful. Their worldview is that life shouldn't suck, right? Like we've watched our parents kind of be unhappy, or people who have gone before us stay in a job and kind of like live a mediocre life. But we realize we don't have to stay in our current line of work. We can make a shift. And they want to experience joy in everything they do. So in the food they buy, in the coffee they decide to grab, in the way that their apartment is designed. And then I know that their energy, they're driven, they're creative, they're positive, they are themselves. So they try not to be anyone besides themselves, but maybe that's been masked a little bit. And yeah, a few other things. But I always try to come back to their dreams, their worldviews, and their energy. And I can create a post based on that, because those are 3 simple prompts that will usually bring me back to who that person is. And it takes a long time to really master this whole target market thing. I'm still reminding myself who I need to be speaking to. But every time I create something around one of these character traits of who I imagine my client to be, and I've named my client Alana. I know she's between 26 and 40. She probably lives with a partner or a fiance or a husband. She finds out about me on Instagram or Facebook or through podcasts. She shops online. So these are all things I kind of know. But now I've really gotten clear on this for 2 solid years, and it's finally really clicked in. I know who I'm speaking to. So don't worry if it doesn't come right away, but hopefully that helps a little bit. And the clearer the better, because you just want to speak to a small subset of people, and they will latch onto you and be your first 5 clients. So yeah, how'd the mood board go?
It didn't.
No.
Not that it didn't. I looked at Pinterest and I started pinning things, but I then get wrapped up in the fact that I don't have a name, I don't have a logo. So so I know what kind of colors I want to use. And
okay, that's good.
But
yeah. And I mean, we're not all good at graphic design and colors and fonts. So if this is not your strong point, okay, I just want you to be resourceful. And if you can do this yourself, great way to save money. Mm-hmm. Kim, how'd it go for you?
Well, I already had my colors and my name, because I know I want to use orange as my background. Yes. And the font, I know the name of the font, and it's a block font, and it's going to be blue. I have to look up. Can't find the color blue that I made it, but that's
there is an easy. Is it online already, the blue color?
It was in Canva.
Okay, awesome. So I can show you a way
I made it my own kind of thing, because I had to play around with the color scale.
Yeah, so when you click on the color, then open up the color palette again and click the plus sign, and you'll be able to copy the color code.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that I had. And that is basically as far as I got. I didn't get to the Pinterest thing. I kind of I know the stuff that I want to do. I know the imagery that I'm trying to, that I would like on the mood board and what I want it to reflect.
Awesome.
I found the, I don't know if it was in the mood board one, where you had us do the 4
quadrants.
4 quadrants. That would be basically what would be on my mood board. And I filled that out, but I just didn't actually do the mood board.
That's all good. Cool. Yeah, the 4 quadrants is really just to get a representation of really what you could fill your Instagram with, and just making sure that you have content that's not just food. Yeah. It's nice to see some personality behind it, maybe some motivational quotes and all that. So just give you some ideas to post. Awesome. Anything else that came up with module 2 that you want to talk about? Struggles, wins? Yeah, anything.
I just need to say that I actually love the workbooks. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
we obviously know they're great, but like, just like the questions, like, I feel like they really open my mind in the right way. Like, I can really connect with it.
So this whole concept, and like, I also really love podcasts, as I'm sure you guys realize, but I heard this quote once that said, questions are the answer. And I really do think that. I think the more we can challenge ourselves to like put an answer down to these questions, it's just inching you a little bit closer to that clarity. So even if you got to the end of this 90 days and you had just answered my 5 million questions, then I think that's a success, because you're really getting to know yourself and your business capabilities through all of this. And then really all that's left is to package it up and your readiness to put it forward. And I mean, I can't force anyone to do that, but at least I can get you really familiar with, like what people need from you. And believe me, they need a lot. So long as we can figure out something to put together and create content around and sell, then yeah, I really do think questions are the answer.
Yeah. And it just like, I don't know, this just kind of clicked with me, but it's not that it's the same. I guess teaching is teaching, but I think about it in like terms of I teach yoga. And so then like one person might hear a cue from me that they've never heard before. And that like, is like, oh my God. And I feel like all of these questions are just like opening that for me. Like they're the right cue. So interesting.
Definitely. Yeah. And pay attention to your answers. Like, again, like, are words popping up? Are you getting just like any clarity through what you're writing down or scribbling or thinking through that? So.
I feel like I didn't have any other like huge issues per se.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I will quickly review our next module, which is, I feel bad because it's kind of a big one. But creating a program is a big thing, but you do it once, like you'll spend a few hours on this, but this could be something that you run for the next 5 years, for the next 20 years. You might bring 20 people through this the first time you launch it. You might bring 5 people through it. So like there's a huge return on investment to you creating a cool program. And I think it's worth the work. And it's not meant to be challenging because you're spewing out everything that you love talking about. I don't want you to pretend you're the master at anything that you're not actually the master of. So yeah, have fun with this one. I'm going to share my screen and just show you the Teachable. Where are we here? Too many tabs. Okay, cool. So module 3 is open for you now. So definitely go through this one in order. You have to do the explore and discover first. Now, this one, again, you might want to punch me in the face because I'm reiterating a lot of the same questions, but it's really about understanding what are you here to teach, asking you some prompts like, what are your last 5 Google searches? What do other people tell you you're good at? What are the last 3 books? I just want you to understand all the things that you could potentially pour into a program for someone. Then I want you to think about, what is this going to look like? Is it a workshop, a course, a training, a talk, a retreat? Like, this is up to you, right? Is it paid or is it free? Is it online or is it in person? Is it live or is it automated? Like you create it and you leave. Self-studied? Is it through workbooks or video or audio? So I just want you to get the wheels turning because there are any number of ways to run this program or offer. So you need to kind of dive in and see, like, what do I like learning? How does my target market want to learn? Do they like workbooks? Like, I know that my audience likes workbooks, so that's what I create for them. And yeah, so go through this. It's meant to just kind of get the wheels turning, and then you're going to summarize what you've circled to really see, like, okay, well, what am I creating here? Doing another quick little X and Y axis exercise to make sure you know you're in your own quadrant as you create this. And And then is the second workbook, which is very, very important too, which is creating your offer. Now, this is where the sticky notes will come into play. And so this is where we put it all together. I'm asking you to grab some Post-its or just cut some squares of paper. And it's best to do this in the physical realm, so actually writing it down rather than doing it on your computer. And then I just go through the steps. So step 1, get the sticky notes out and write freely. So you're just going to write things that you love talking about that your target audience needs to hear about. Okay. I've given you an example here. And then you're going to divide those into groups. Okay. So maybe you've talked a lot on sticky notes about meal planning and the importance of hydration and portion control. Okay. Well, that all seems to funnel under one topic. Maybe on other sticky notes, you have like how important yoga is and meditation and like nature walks. Okay, that's all going to go under one topic. Maybe another one is like green cleaning and avoiding pesticides. Like, you know what I mean? So you're going to see, are there logical topics? And that might actually dictate the length of your program or the length of what you're offering. I've been through this with people who are launching consulting businesses, and they'll do, okay, well, phase 1 is I get to know my client through doing a questionnaire and meeting with them on the phone. Phase 2. So you can see how this could apply to many different industries. Journaling how long it's going to be based on what makes sense from your Post-it notes. And then we're going to talk about when you look at each of those modules, what is the transformation that could happen? If somebody learns how to cook healthier meals, to go gluten and dairy free, and how to portion control, the transformation is that they're going to have more energy and lose weight to be able to chase after their kids or whatever. You can see how it's like we're flipping it from not just drilling at people, you need to go gluten-free. It's like, no, you want to go gluten-free because the why. Yeah, exactly. Put it in words they understand, because they don't know they need to go gluten-free yet, but they know they need to lose weight. So it's like, talk to me in my language. Don't confuse me. And then you're pulling it all together. Okay. So this is a big workbook, I know, but it's a fun one. This is truly, honestly, how I created the visionary method. So I know that it works. This is the only reason I have these 6 modules here, right? And then you're going to go through a mini pricing workbook. This is important, just determining how much you should sell your program for. It's not too robust. It's just, coming up with what you feel comfortable slapping onto that program or product or service. And giving you a couple prompts there. And this is certainly my favorite part of the module. It's putting your sales page together. This really helped me to get clear and to just put it out to the universe. And if you go to my website, you'll see I followed this exact same sales template, both on my group coaching program, the Visionary Method, as well as on this page as well. So this is how people learn what the Visionary Method is. I send everybody here, and it was built because of this workbook. And it's a very simple exercise. And at the end, you put it all together. What's the title? What's the tagline? What's the brief overview? Who is it for? Okay, so I've taken exactly this and I've put it onto my website. And I just let it go to the universe, and people really connect with it. So this is a good formula to follow. And last but not least, so again, if you have to go in logical order and you don't get to the sales page template or to the freebie, no worries. Just start at the top. Freebie is actually creating your very first free giveaway based on your program. So save this for last. But I've also attached examples of what freebies are. These are things that I give away for free in return for someone's email or in return for something from them. So it's helping me to capture my target audience. So I've created this website completion checklist because I know that most of my target audience are in a full-time job, hating their life, feel daunted by how they could ever create a business. So I just created this on Canva using the resume template and just plugged in some information. So I give you all the tools you'll need for how to create your very first freebie. But again, if you don't get to this, do not stress. You can do this another time. And that's it. That is the end of the module. So lots to do. Start at the top and definitely have fun with the creation phase. It's meant to be fun, not daunting. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. And if you get hung up, like definitely use this, use our Facebook group. I know you guys aren't all too chatty, but hopefully this will pull out the creativity in you. And yeah, definitely share with us how that sticky note exercise goes. If you might get some like really like big moments of clarity because you're pulling it all out of your brain, you're putting it onto paper, you're able to organize it physically in front of you. So I think it will be really, really good for you guys. And that's that. Anything else on your minds that you want to chat about before we go?
I don't think so. I can know right now.
Okay. Well, definitely please comment in the Facebook group. I'll post your weekly homework. And that's it for today.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Kels.
Cool. Thanks. Have a great night.
You too.
Bye.